Hey everybody, Brian Hart Hoffman here, coming to you from the Bake From Scratch kitchen. I'm so excited to share my recipe for fried apple hand pies using the delicious Bonne Maman apple pie filling. We make the dough, they made the filling, we all get to take the credit. It's gonna be delicious, super easy, and you're gonna love it. Let's get started. We'll start things off by making our pie dough. So we're gonna make an all butter pie crust, and for this one, we're gonna use the food processor. And I know there's multiple methods, you choose your favorite, but for me, we're using a food processor just to make it fast and easy. And for this recipe, we need 3 batches of the pie dough so that we get lots of those apple pies on the table. All right, so we're gonna start with all-purpose flour going into the bowl of your food processor along with some salt. And this is just a super quick mix here. I'm just gonna pulse just to get those combined, get the salt in the flour, and then we're gonna add our cold unsalted butter. So this is butter that has been cubed and then refrigerated again to stay nice and cold until it's time to use it. It's been cubed into 1/2-inch pieces, and now we're just going to start breaking these down before we add any liquid. So we're gonna use pulse again here, and we're just gonna pulse until we have a nice and crumbly mixture. And that's just looking for the butter to be broken down. We say about pea-sized pieces. So you can stop along the way, look in. If you see some bigger pieces, you might wanna pulse just a few more times. And then we're gonna stop there. Now, I've got some ice water, and this is water that I've kept ice cubes in until it's freezing cold, and then I measure the amount that I need. I'm gonna remove this part of the food processor, and then I'm gonna turn it on. And in a slow and steady stream, I'm gonna add this until the dough comes together. So just pour that ice cold water in, and you'll immediately notice when the pie dough comes together because it's gonna change into almost like a ball of dough instantly as you add that cold water. You might need a little bit more. I'm gonna stop right there. I almost reached for the water. Sometimes you might have to add a little bit more water if it's not coming together. And if there are some dry bits in the bowl, that's okay too. And I'll show you what it looks like as we turn it out onto the kitchen counter here. Now, take this, and if you can pinch it together without it falling apart, then you've got the water distributed. It doesn't look like a pie dough yet, but we're gonna shape this into a nice round disc, and then we're gonna pop it in the refrigerator. So just use your hands, press this together. No need to overwork it here. Take some plastic wrap and then off to the refrigerator for at least an hour. Get some nice make ahead here. You could do this up to 2 days in advance, or if you freeze it, you've got 3 months with pie dough ready when you are. Y'all having fun yet? You know I am. All right, with the chilled dough, put a little bit of flour down on your surface. You want a lightly floured surface before we roll the dough. Here's the thing I love about this dough. We don't have to work in a perfect circle or a rectangle and all the stress that you get from rolling. We're just looking to roll this to about 1/8 of an inch thick. You do you, whatever shape you like. We just want to be able to roll it out and get those hand pies cut out from this dough. So I'm still trying to keep it in somewhat of an even rolling pattern by rolling this into a circle, but that's just for me. And if it starts to stick to your rolling pin at all, just put a little bit of flour on and then keep rolling. You'll notice that as you roll, it gets a lot easier, but sometimes that chilled dough coming out of the refrigerator can have a little bit of resistance. Just stay in it or let it sit for a few minutes, and then you'll notice it rolls out beautifully as you continue working with it. If it starts to stick to the counter at all, just take it through some flour, make sure that it's not sticking. Once you start cutting out those circles for the hand pies, you're not gonna wanna be peeling that dough off the counter. All right, I have a 4-inch round cutter, and I'm just gonna lightly flour it and press into the dough, and then start reserving each piece that we're gonna use to fill with our apple pie filling. And just so we're not wasting any scraps, you can re-roll this once to get the maximum out of your dough. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside and let's get the filling in the pie. So you did the hard work, you made your pie dough. Now Bonne Maman did the best part for us by getting our apple pie filling in a jar, and we're gonna take all the credit for making these delicious hand pies. We'll take our round of pie dough, and we'll place our apple pie filling just here in the center. And then don't forget your egg wash. This is gonna help seal the edges so that the filling stays in while we are frying these. You know, you can also bake these if you don't want to deep fry them, and the details for that are included in the recipe. Then you'll take your pie dough, fold it completely over your filling, press to seal, and then use a fork just to crimp the edges. And this is going to help to give you a nice seal, and it just looks really good. After you assemble each one, place it on a sheet tray, and after you have that filled up, you'll put it in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes to let them get nice and cold again before frying. All right, let's fry some pies. I've got a Dutch oven that I've preheated my vegetable oil to 365 degrees Fahrenheit. That temperature does matter. And it's about 2 inches worth of oil in the Dutch oven, but we need it to be nice and hot when we put these cold and refrigerated hand pies in. You can fry 3 or 4 at a time, so let's get it in there. You can work in batches though, but doing 3 or 4 at a time makes it really nice and easy. You're gonna place them in the oil carefully, just gently. And then you're gonna let these go for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes per side until they're golden brown. And they'll float back up to the surface, and oh, you can start smelling them too. And then you start imagining the deliciousness that awaits. I can see that they're floating to the top, and they're beautifully golden brown. And using a spider strainer, I'm just gonna get some of the excess oil off. And then I'm gonna take them directly to a sheet tray that has been lined with paper towels to help absorb that extra oil as well. Now don't move too quickly here, and take the next set of the hand pies and throw them in the oil. Use your thermometer and make sure that the oil reheats to 365 degrees Fahrenheit before proceeding with the next batch. Then, after a few minutes of sitting here cooling and just getting a little bit of that oil off, it's time for even more deliciousness. I've got a cinnamon sugar right here, and I'm just gonna take each of these, and I'll do 2 at a time, and toss them in the cinnamon sugar. You wanna do this while they're warm though, because that's gonna help the cinnamon sugar adhere to your hand pies. So just tossing them in. You could even leave them in there for a few seconds and get the rest, and do them in batches. Helps to keep things moving nice and quickly. Then from the cinnamon sugar, stack them up on your tray and get ready to enjoy. There's no need to wait to enjoy these delicious apple hand pies that you've made, and they're best served warm. We all know that. There's even a salted caramel sauce included in this recipe so that your garnish goes even extra. You're gonna absolutely love it. But let's take a look at these beautiful hand pies that we just made. Ooh, yeah. Okay, in we go to that salted caramel sauce. Look at this. I can't even wait any longer. Those are the best flavors. It's so flaky, so tender. Oh my gosh, so delicious. I'm gonna eat this whole plate. But before I do that, thank you so much for joining me today in the kitchen. The description for the video does include the link to the recipe and how you can be a part of the Bake From Scratch community. And then even more information can be included about Bonne Maman and their amazing pie fillings and other delicious products that they keep our kitchens well stocked with. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and never miss another delicious moment. Now it's your turn, everybody. Preheat your oven. It's time to bake, or should I say, get the oil ready. It's time to fry.